Hey everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. We're on a roll with all these messages coming through. As you guys know, if you know me personally, you know I do a lot of personal processing of energies, and it looks like I'm being asked to share a lot of that right now. You can already feel my throat chakra kind of wavering a little bit because I'm already in the field. And you know what? If we're gonna be learning, why don't we learn and heal together? And look at this cute blue spot. We'll just enjoy that there. All right, so for today's video, what we're going to be focusing on is the masculine energy. I was going to do masculine and feminine connection here, inner masculine, inner feminine connection here, but I think each of these polarities needs its own video right now. If you've been watching lately my channel, first of all, thank you very much. Then you will have probably noticed recently, I think it was earlier today, one of the messages that came through. Did I post that? Yeah, it was the Libra reading. Yeah, the Libra reading was talking about how we have a lot of dark feminine processing right now. A lot of you guys have been going through that. It's not just me, it's a couple people that I know. And when I say dark feminine, I'm not talking about the positive aspects of the dark feminine because the dark feminine, it's synonymous in many ways with destruction, right? But we've seen many positive uses for this destructive force. So we're talking about the shadow aspects of the dark feminine. For example, we're talking about the shadow aspects of the sacred prostitute, right? I don't know if you guys are aware of that archetype, right? The shadow aspects of the mother archetype, right? So we're talking about the feminine aspect that is out of alignment with love. But in the Libra reading, what came through quite loud and clear is that what appears to be a toxic feminine situation, and it is, underneath that is being concealed toxic masculine, right? They do a dance together. And so what I thought tonight is tonight, guys, it is what time is it? I don't even know. Is it like going on 10? But the guys are like, we're doing this. And so here we are. We're going to be taking a look at masculine healing. It's going to be a heavily channeled session. They said they're like saying, get started. Okay, okay. Um, we're also going to do some heart healing. So there is going to be an energetic component. I would invite you to have some water to hand. And remember that there's energetic surgery and stuff that's going to be going on if it's for you. And so make sure that you take care in the days to come. And finally, we're going to create the space for the healthy masculine aspects to come in. So that being said, thank you for the spiel, for waiting through that spiel. Let's get started. And of course, I'm always here to be at your service with a capital S in the name of Source uh, for personal readings and healing sessions. So just hit me up at my Etsy page. All right. So I've got these masculine cards. These are divine masculine cards, literally called that. And we've got this Alana Fairchild's Oracle of the Light Workers. Oh, this is an oldie but goodie. We're going to start off with looking at these energies. Thank you. And of course, oh, actually, I think they may want to. Okay. Oh gosh, energy's already coming up. They want to do a quick clearing of the energy field. Thank you. Seeing some money exchanged here. Thank you. Um, so let's start. Let's do that first, so that we can get you guys all grounded in a space to receive. Thank you so much. So, one, two, three. I'm grounding you. If you feel anything in the field, that's just us lovingly tugging on you. I've already set the space that anything that isn't for your highest good will be null and void in your energy field. So no worries. We're getting you all tied down in a good way because I'm saying tied down. I actually saw stapled down, and as I tried to clean it up and said tied down, but that's just because some of you are trying to float off. So we're just gonna get you gently grounded here. We're gonna pull you into this beautiful, super cute bubble of golden light, and woo, some of you may have felt that run over your head as you popped in. It's just us, don't worry. We've seen some spinal work getting into alignment as well. So we do have energies working with you and on you. These are going to be your medical teams that are here doing the work on you, medical teams by your soul's contract. So rest assured that they're your friends. They're helping you out. So I'm going to ask you guys to go a little silent. Obviously, you are, but in the energetics, you may not be. So I'm going to ask you to go a little silent because we're going to be working on your throat chakra, heart chakra. We're hearing it's like we're hooking you up into some healing chambers right now as we do this work. Okay. Whew. Okay. Felt that. Spine is feeling pretty hooked up. Okay, thank you. All right. The one who said thank you feels like a technician. He's so funny. He slash she is an energy there. Okay. All right, so they're asking me to recognize for you guys, those of you who have come to this reading, even though it is free, here in the 3D, because God bless, we hook it up. Like I said earlier, I saw money exchange, and I'm seeing this here again. So what they're saying is that this is a spiritual decree card. This is my volition card. So they're acknowledging that there is already reciprocity for this. So if you got called to this reading and you managed to stay through and you receive the energies, then you have already paid for this. This is a service that you've asked for. Don't ask what it means. It just is what it is. And I may have a little trouble talking because I'm in your field and I'm feeling um, the arresting, so to speak, of the body. So let's jump in and let's see what's going on for the inner masculine. And when I say the inner masculine, I knew this card. This is my masculine card. Always comes up. It says this unplugged for mass consciousness, but it's always the masculine. This is my etheric surgery pose. So we're about to head into the field and start getting some work done. Ooh, feeling that around the feet. You guys may already be feeling that. And they're going to take care of that. And I'm going to do my part here and kind of talk to you guys about this. All right, so past life activation. So let's go into this masculine energy. The first thing I want to talk about with the toxic aspects of these masculine energies that you, the collective, are carrying is that I'm getting a very pushy, aggressive, answer back kind of energy going on in the throat and in the solar plexus and the chest area. But I do want to let you know that a lot of these energies are being lifted out right now. Feeling into the solar plexus, very pushy. It does have some ancestral connection, so it could be connected to the masculines in your family or your bloodline, whether that be your energetic bloodline or your physical bloodlines, or doesn't matter which side of the family, but there is a lineage that's showing up here. But there's also some onus on you, whoever you guys are, this masculine within you, your masculine polarity. So the good thing about this that I was saying is that I do see it's almost like some of this is just a trapped energy from past lifetimes, and that's what we see in the solar plexus here. So we're just going to extract that out. God bless. Now, why, even though we're saying it's trapped like energies um, from a past lifetime, you may experience that here in the physical and practical terms. You may experience that as being a little pushy in your ways with other people, or even if you don't have a personality this lifetime that is quite pushy, your energy is still pushy. And so, people may describe you as pushy, even if you may describe yourself as meek and mild, and even if you're not conscious of it, you may well be surrounded by people who are pushy. This is your own energy being reflected back to you. We tell it like it is on this channel. And so this energy is there, and I do see that it is largely a reflection or an echo of past energies that have yet to make their way out. I'm seeing I've got some of you carrying some dragon energies with you. So maybe you have some dragon guides with you. Look at these energies being made. They're making their way out. And they're laughing a little bit because they're like, they always blame us for the aggressive aspects that come through them. But it's like if we're just like steam engines, like puffing steam and anger and stuff like that. But actually it's not the case here. Some of your dragons, though fierce, are coming through as more placid than we would give them to, and more lyrical, they're saying. God bless them. Waxing poetic, because we have to remember that the dragon race, they're very old, right? And you don't think that a lot of them have, I don't want to say mellowed out, but have evolved to, balance their polarities and whatnot. So here we are, they're assisting us, they're helping us. So here we are projecting a lot of our old, I was going to say own, but you hear the word old, our old energies that we have yet to kind of notice and release, like this aggression we see here, onto them. And they're like, that's not fair. They're just joking though. So we're just gonna acknowledge it. Our bad. Sorry, guys. And we're releasing it. Now, it's interesting. They're saying that they're highlighting that some of us have been, and not even us, we doesn't in whether or not, but they're saying some of us within the human race, some of us who have served time, for example, in jails, whether in this lifetime or other lifetimes, it's this energy that's within them that has been, unacknowledged, and so has been acting out like bubbling up to the surface. Think of it like pouring out of your skin at some points, and literally just attracting these aggro energies outside of you. And then you get caught up, catch a case, so to speak. And so they're saying, if we only understood how important it is to detox, how important it is and they're saying, they're highlighting some teas right now. And by the way, I've got my hibiscus, okay, here, but they're highlighting some teas, right? Um, maybe my medicine was the hibiscus, right? But there are other teas that we can have, herbal teas that can assist us alchemically. You'd have to look in to see which of those would be for you. Don't just roll up to any place and say, hey, I need a tea, and then somebody gives you, this is good for anger. That may be good for anger and aggression, but that may not be the specific one that you need, right? And so just be mindful of that. But they're saying that people don't know how just tempering these energies and moving energies once they're ready to be released, good spiritual hygiene, good detox, they highlighted the teas, would do a lot of justice for helping us. Now, if we lose some of you on this call now, that's okay. That's expected. Some of you may be like interrupted, or you're like, oh, okay, well, I'm not going to sit here longer for that. And then they're showing me that you have already had your work done. Remember, the teams are working on you right now. In my field, we create the conditions. See, there we are. We create the conditions for you to have this energy work done. But your healing comes from your higher self and your spirit team and all of that good stuff. And so sometimes if you just get what you need already, it's time to go, right? So it's okay. All right. Now, speaking of time to go, we're going into this. See this union card 1111. Now, I see a lot of you a lot of your inner masculine. I'm now tapping my heart space, so I'm feeling some heart pain. A lot of your inner masculine aspects are struggling with heartbreak when it comes to union with the divine feminine, with the inner feminine, as expressed through the mother. Okay, heartbreak around mother energies, as expressed through um uh uh there, I wanted to say the lover, right? But they're saying the teacher, and then they're saying literature, right? So there are quite a few expressions of femininity that we experience in our daily life, that breaks our heart. And so they're acknowledging this. Now, reason why it's feeling so clogged here in the heart space is because there's a tendency amongst the masculine expression. It doesn't, male, female, gender non-conforming, doesn't matter, right? And you flip through different lifetimes, duh, right? So right now we're actually just talking about the masculine polarity, but there's a tendency to stuff and to repress when we get into that toxic masculine. And so it's kind of like, we see this all the time. Hey man, forget about her. Let's go out tonight. Or hey, dude, let's just grab a beer and let's just go whatever. So there's a stuffing that occurs instead of an outward expression in healthy ways, right? And then if it's in the toxic, the outward expression is in aggression and fighting and whatnot. Being in the wrong place at the wrong time sometimes is actually because your energy brought you there, right? Now, I do want to show you this spiritual service card. It's coming out, and notice it's not landing here. It's hanging out here in the field, like this. So this is showing me, we're going to do a little bit of energy work here in the cranial space. We're going to rotate this a little bit so it aligns properly. Ooh, ooh. Oh, some of you may feel this in the lower spine area, right? And that's why we're doing it gently, because these parts are all connected. So we're just, hold on. Now you might be surprised, but what they're saying is porn. Okay, hopefully algorithms are just like beep beep beep, right? But watching porn addictions, all this, and not just addiction, but exposure to that energetically. I know it's what up there with like recreational drugs and this and that, and everybody this that, and everyone has their wounds, so they have different ideas about it, and then everyone has, so there's no judgment here. But I do want to let you know that it is a low vibration energy, and when you over consume that energy, it does something to you. And I'm just sitting here wondering, is it just exposure to it, and in general exposure to it in general if it's just not good, right? But either way, I'll leave that up to you and your spirit team to meander through, because we're dealing with a collective reading, and you understand that when we have certain takeaways for our lives, we just have to have a personal reading because everyone has a different genetic makeup, right? And so, anyway, I'm just seeing that part of that misalignment is due to what was popping up, that porn engagement, and what else? It's starting to turn again. So let me see what else that is. What's turning it back? Because we just did some clearing there. Um, Hold on. This is genetic grandfather energies coming through. Toxic, okay? Lineage stuff, bloodline stuff, and this does feel like I was gonna say oh, the word's not even coming out because I heard feminine and family bloodline, but I was gonna say paternal. I don't even know what I was gonna say. They wiped it, so it doesn't matter. So look how it's turning. Hold on. It's being extracted, by the way, from the field. So if you feel that, wherever you're feeling it, it's okay. It's being extracted, but also it's being registered. Like as we register all these energies, look how the spiritual mission card is just like turning on its head. So these are things that block your ability to perceive of how you can, you know, be of service in this world. And sometimes you're on a mission and you're doing things, but it may not necessarily be um, what your soul intended you to do or set out for you to do, because the misalignment is so off. It doesn't mean that your energy is wasted, but when you get back to the other side, you're gonna be like, oh shoot, I was supposed to do A, B, and C, and I ended up doing P, Q, R. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna pull in some air element now. So just get a little quiet. You might feel this around the throat chakra. We're just gonna. It's like CPR is what we're gonna do a little bit here. So hold on. Some of you need to get your spaces cleared. So we're gonna clear it for you here. Space space clearing in your environment, but you do have to take further steps to make sure that that space clearing remains. Okay. Ooh. Ooh. Some of you are living with people, they didn't like to feel that space clear, but that's how it is. It's a little bit of a reminder that the people that you share your space with, they affect you as well. Now we just cleared your space, your auric space, and maybe even some of your rooms that are appropriate for you. Okay, it's not turning. Is it turning still? But remember that you're still choosing to share space with people, and you're choosing to let people's energies come in. Now you may say, I'm not trying to choose it, but it sometimes your lack of boundaries and your lack of making those boundaries and setting those boundaries and maintaining those boundaries and giving to yourself and exercising good judgment, these are things that when they're slipshod, they let in things that are not for your highest good. Now this means this is showing me not only the people around you, but earthbound spirits, entity attachments, negative thought forms, these kinds of things. Now I'm getting a nod here to the Amish community. Now this feels past life though, just because we have different communities, religious or non-religious, indigenous, whatever, there's light and shadow in all of this. Whatever energy is coming up related to the Amish community here, it feels past life. Obviously, we have the past life card here, so we're through that portal a bit here, and it feels very dark. So remember, in these spaces, sometimes there's a lot of things that go on because number one, you're human, and you know, I need to be better with accepting humanity and blah blah blah. Personally, that's my journey, but don't ever get it twisted. At the end of the day, they're humans. I don't care what vestments you're wearing or what station you've been given in society. You're still human, and you through your humanity and your lack of mindfulness about it, and caring to your virtues and not allowing your vices to run you, you can become portals to these shadows, these dark entities and lower forces, and these things attract. And the things we do in the shadows, right? And don't think that abuses don't occur. And some of you on this call, I'm getting, were in positions that were, as I'm saying that, you see our spiritual card is turning again away from the upright because of shame and stuff. So we're just calling it what it is. But some of you abused your power. Oh, good. I see some of you accepting it. Good. See now it's back right side up. Remember, it's it's the lack of acceptance that we carry. It's the fear of seeing our actions and what we have made it mean about us, because we're the ones to bring the judgment, right? And you know that that judgment is subjective, because the minute something on high in your mind, someone or some force on high comes down and says you were right, you're like, I knew it, I knew I should have killed all those people, right? So there you are. And then if the same uh, being on high, or whatever it is that you give credence to as some exaltable being, tells you you were wrong, you're like, I'm the worst puppy dog ever, I hate myself, right? So you have to see that subjectivity belongs to us. It is us. And so hopefully that can liberate you a little bit. Look at how your spiritual service is aligning now. It wants to align, see the light here and here. So what we're doing is we're just clearing the space. All right, I'm getting some itching in my right eye. I was going to say some movement in my right eye, but it's coming across as itching here. Now, we want to do a little bit more alignment here. I'm getting the symbol of baseball. And just to remind you guys what we're doing and where we are in the space collectively, by design, to do some, let's say, basement clearing of the inner masculine energies. We're clearing the air here. Now, thank you. I'm getting dust. When I now listen, I just said the basement because that's reflecting the fact that we just got deeper. We've just gone a layer deeper in this shadow work, and I'm getting dusty. My tongue's itching a little bit, my throat's itching a little bit, and I'm feeling a little bit of pain in the tongue. So this is now we're going to get into some deeper shadows. But I love that we are able to together, with love and compassion, to look at these things that often we're too afraid of to look at. Money was just exchanged there as well. Thank you. Excuse me. That also tells us we've just got some new arrivals. And so some of you may have come on into the video at a later time. I'm gonna get my glasses. What do you do? What am I doing with these darker cards here? I gotta get my glasses on. Hold on. Listen, Four of Cups. Take a look at this. Oh, can I show some of these cards? Sorry. I know some. I know they kind of like block some of these things online, but anyway, this is the Four of Cups. But what is coming through is refusal, what are the words? Refusing to reason. Oh, refusing to listen to reason. So this is showing abuse of the feminine here, but not only abuse of the feminine in the physical, but abuse of the feminine within. Now, if it's your inner feminine that you've abused, I mean, if you're doing it to the outer, then you're doing it to the inner. Again, we don't care what your gender is, male, female, gender non-conforming. We're looking at polarity. This is really just a dance you've done with yourself, the dance that your own masculine has done with your own feminine over time, as expressed and experienced through physicality, whether it be male, female, gender non-conforming, mother, brother, sister, a coworker, doesn't matter. This is just you dancing with yourself, right? So when you, through this card here of abusing the feminine, we're seeing you suppress the aspects of the feminine that are designed to assist you in metabolizing life, in metabolizing. As I'm saying that, I'm feeling a lot of guilt come up through the throat chakra, so through the throat. You can breathe that out if you'd like. A lot of guilt coming way down from the toes. I'm feeling a lot of Jewish energies in the toe area, but this is past life. Long time ago for some of you. Some of you remember we flipped through different cultures and religions, so please do not even waste your time feeling any type of way about anything that comes through here, because we're doing interdimensional work, multidimensional work here. All right. And so it's a blessing to be able to dip into our past like this and pull up these aspects. I see a lot of guilt in the toe area for these Jewish energies, whatever part of the world they were. I'm not getting a time frame because they're different different people of you, different, you guys are different, but we've all been in these different cultures and stuff. But anyway, this guilt is making its way up. Other parts of the body have guilt as well, heart chakra as well, coming up, suppressing the daughters, suppressing the minds of young women and women in general who very intellectual, but socioculturally not allowed to express, right? We see that theme continuing throughout all cultures today. It doesn't matter. The US is filled with it, right? Because again, wherever there is humanity, there are patterns of behavior that are unhealed. Doesn't matter where you manifest, where you choose to incarnate. In your next lifetime, quote unquote, next lifetime, you may choose to go back in time. You may choose to select a timeline that we would perceive from this point of view as a future timeline, right? So remember, time is not linear. In fact, it doesn't exist, but it is a tool that we use to have these experiences. But we do see this refusal to reason. So I can't even talk here, but the energy here is the masculine not giving a about the feminine. And for those of you who, I don't know if some of you watching this actually have a very strong masculine, maybe you vibe more masculine regardless of your gender in this lifetime. And so maybe you may be big in body, big in stature, whatever, but there's sometimes some people have such a personality this lifetime that they are more dominant, more alpha, more whatever, and they may enjoy having a social ability to stomp around and throw their weight around. Sometimes people, it's not even linked to stature, it's linked to social license. Maybe you could be the scrawniest person with the lily livered whatever, but you get a little power in your hands through politics or through a job or something, and now you're smiting all the people below you, the employees, right, throwing your weight around. This is that energy, that I don't give a kind of energy. It's not necessarily bordering on hedonism, although it can for some of you. It could have expressed that way. And I'm seeing, as I'm saying this, I just saw like this dark entity with black wings just pop out and fly out. So we just blew that out. So these are the vices. These are these energies that latch on. Some of you may be feeling this energy. You may have felt it even exit your field. And see, as we bring light to it, light meaning acknowledgement, bringing space. Look, they're like, hey, didn't we you just totally just moved this card. We totally did move it right onto here. When we bring the light to these things and we acknowledge these patterns that we have, these shadows. And remember, we're in the basement of the basement. When we're in the shadows, we're in the basement already, but now we went down a couple levels here. And so then we can clear out and like shoo fly, right? These entities and such that attach. Sometimes we can call these hungry ghosts. That's just a euphemism. Some of these ghosts these earthbound spirits are actually hungry for your energy. And anyway, but I'm just using that term here to kind of expand, apply a little bit more to some of these entities that attach to us. Now, when we go through and we do healing work, and we, sometimes you notice some people go back to healers. They keep doing their shamanic healings. They're like traveling the world to heal themselves and this and that. And a lot of times we do that and then we get discouraged when we're like, but I thought I healed this already. Yes, you've been healing it, but remember, you are a multidimensional being. So so when you're doing these healings, you can only chip away at what is ready to be released. And what is ready to be released is what you are ready to acknowledge, right? And so when you're ready to acknowledge something and the conditions are right for it to be released, then it's going to be released. But then you just get to a new level, new devil. You get to a new level and then you get to do it some more. But with that healing and such, you get deeper understanding. You guys don't understand. When we talk about being in the dream, we are so far off at this third dimension. I said the third dimension. I didn't even say the 12th. I didn't say the 8th. I didn't say the 9th. We're in the third dimension. And we're so dense, we are literally thoughts made physical. You're a thought, you're a consciousness. You're not a body, right? We're so down here and we're so far off from from perceiving reality that we literally think that we're separate, that our bodies separate us, that we're individuals. We have a name, and we have a, 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 a mind of our own, and we have opinions, and we like pizza, and some people like this, and we have personalities. This is not reality. So when you, if you can actually understand how deep in the sauce we are, you shouldn't be surprised that you're peeling off layer after layer after layer. You're out here lifetimes after lifetimes doing this, right? And we will get it all together. The time that you choose to do it is up to you, but you will do it. So what's stopping us from having this oh, these are two cards. Radical clearings? Well, we don't want to see certain things. I don't remember who it was, no names, or I remember I was in a session once and the guides, and I was going to tell them something that was coming up, tell my lovely client something that had come up, and the guide said, no, don't, because it would tear the past life aspect that that message was for, that the client before me was carrying, because we're carrying these past life aspects. Here we are clearing some, right? um, that aspect was had been a masculine in another lifetime. They were feminine in this one, and had, God bless, killed the entire family. I don't remember how, it was burning their house down or something, but it killed the entire family. And they said, don't reveal that, because that aspect of the person wasn't ready to hear that yet. It would have been pushed into so much grief that it would have affected the client who was there. And that's why we have to be mindful whenever we go to get past lifetime readings, for example, and past lifetime regressions and stuff. Make sure you connect with your guides to make sure that you are able to do that. And there are parts of you that can get healing and not be thrown and affect your life. So what I'm trying to say is, healing takes time. You may be like, let's do it, but there are parts of you that are so gentle and so fragile that we have to be careful. Right? So let me turn over this next card, Page of Cups, while I take a little sip of my drink. Feel free to pause and get your drinks too. We're in the field, so don't worry, you can get up and do that. Hmm. Forgot to see how long this recording is. I can't go over an hour, otherwise it won't post to Instagram. What a limitation Instagram is. Oh, but if everybody just weren't so stuck on Instagram, like YouTube is so good. But anyway, whatever. Okay, let's take a look here. Here we have the Page of Cups coming through. Now, what I'm getting clear, oh, yeah, let's see what this card was, by the way. Earth healing, God bless us. Yeah, there we are. That was the light. Remember, we pulled it in. 11, 11, 11, 11. The Page of Cups here, energy, what this is bringing through, in terms of past lifetime healing for the inner masculine that this collective is carrying, whoever you guys are tuning in, is we're getting a nod to, times times I'm not sure what civilizations they were, but they are past, much past, right? Some also feel a little Polynesian-y, like the, that kind of um indigenous in the east, in the Pacific what am I saying, Pacific region. Anyway, like those energies, the water based cultures and stuff. uh I'm getting almost like, I don't want to say idyllic, because I think there was still work to do, obviously, to survive. But this aspect of the masculine I'm seeing, it almost feels like there were things that needed to be addressed to stabilize the culture. Now, I'm also getting now a nod to some Chinese, some aspects of Chinese society, and of course it could be other places, but I'm just bringing out what's being highlighted. Aspects of Chinese society, particularly around the higher classes or the more privileged classes, where we have these masculines, not like almost not engaging in the sacred duty of, they're already peeling this out. Ooh, okay, we'll talk about it in a second. um not engaging in the sacred duties of fulfilling the masculine role of providing. So, for example, if you were just so caught up in the letters and sciences, and in the in caught up in, just the arts and stuff like that without really giving yourself to passing on knowledge, to providing. So this seems like whiling away your days. I'm getting also references to drug use, opium use, whatever drug use in these days, whatever the substances were in these cultures. This would not be all of the men in society, by the way. Some of the men, maybe who were more privileged, or some who were just disconnected from society, or didn't they had a chance to contribute to the community from a healthy masculine standpoint of using their gifts, using their arts, using their intellect, using their minds, using their shoulders, they're saying, and with a reference to helping to elevate people, to teach the people to be, not using their knowledge only to harbor it and to pass it on to the privileged few. This is a disregard, they're saying, of the sacred masculine within all of us. Because remember, male, female, gender nonconforming, within all of us. What does the father do? Teach. The mother teaches too, but the father, like, well, what are we doing? Having a father energy with children, not teaching. What are you doing? Then there's an aspect of the masculine that you're not aligning with, that you're not activating, that you're not becoming a channel for to flow through and to be passed down the generations. That creates a fracturing in the bloodline, in the lineage, and then in the culture, right? This is why we have the cultures all over the world. Cultures are so sick and imbalanced. And this is not to throw blame on any one person, it's for a lot of us. They're reminding me to come back to how the sacred feminine, the inner feminine, as experienced and yeah, as experienced in the physical as women, right? Young and old, and in everything in between, suffered because of this. When the masculine cannot or is not expressing in the healthy way, it throws out the feminine. It overburdens the feminine. And the feminine can only hold up so much. We see this a lot with single motherhood. And I know in sociocultural society today, at least in the US, there's this idea like, oh, I'm mom and dad. Let me stop you right there. You may have done the what seems to us to be the impossible to raise alone, but I guarantee you there are some aspects that you cannot give to the child, and vice versa. When we see masculine, and I mean the single father, there are aspects that you cannot give alone. It's meant to be in union. And this is not saying, oh, you have to be married. This is not something you'll hear from my channel, but what you will hear about is balance, polarity. Now, whether or not that's in a spouse or through the uncles, through the, it takes a village, through whatever, the local pastor or whatever you want to do, it's about getting the nutrients, polarity here. And earlier when we were talking about this waste away, I would say whiling away masculine energy here that we're pulling out, that the guides are pulling out, I said, oh, we'll get to that later. What they were showing me is they pulled out literally, boom, what looks like an organ. I don't know. It almost looks like pulling out it. I don't know. I don't it's I can't so strongly say um uh they're like masculine organs. Thank you. But I'm like, but it looked like a wound that they pulled out, but it's not. It could have, because it's a masculine here, but they pulled from the masculine anatomy here, uh, maybe the bladder, like the gallbladder, prostate, things like this, right? So all of this masculine, when it's not aligned, it's just like when you in the body, when you don't have, because we live in a fractal universe, right? So let's look at the body first of all. When blood is not circulating to the body, think about frostbite, right? When blood is pulled up to the trunk to keep the trunk warm, it can't go to the extremities. What happens? Your extremities atrophy. We see this also in different parts of the body. When blood is not able to flow to different organs and stuff, what happens? It atrophies, it fails. Same with energetic anatomy. When life force energy is not able to flow because of belief patterns that you hold, your beliefs create structures in your field. And if your beliefs are aligned with love, there's no structure because it's just in its natural state. But when you start to have basically all sorts of fear-based beliefs that boil down to I am not, this is a self-denial, the opposite of I am is flow. I am not is an obstruction of flow. It's a thought that gives rise to false beliefs and structures in your field. These things block the flow of life source energy, life force energy to parts of our energetic anatomy. And when not cleared, like how we're clearing these things now, guess what manifests? The physical ailments, because the physical ailments are the physical manifestations of atrophy. The energy can't flow, so the energetic anatomy there suffers. And because we live in a physical dimension, what is in a non-physical comes to pass in the physical. The physical is only ever a carbon copy. No matter what you believe, it's a carbon copy only. And so it will bleed into the physical. That's why we can see children being being born years ahead, because even the act of giving birth in the physical is not, we think of it as creation, but the true creation happened ahead of time. The physical was a portal, right? And there it was, but that's why we can see ahead of time soul contracts coming in, and we can instruct and assist ahead of time with what comes to pass in the physical. So anyway, so what I wanted to say is, in this fractal universe that we have, we just looked at how the physical body can atrophy. We with the blood, we saw how the non-physical body or the energetic anatomy can atrophy, bleeding into physical maladies and ailments. And then we come back to this point that I was saying, when the masculine polarity is not in alignment with its archetypes, like how we looked at here. It wasn't being the provider, it wasn't being the teacher, it wasn't leading, it wasn't contributing, it wasn't right. What happens is it creates an obstruction in the bloodline, in the structure of society and whatnot. So we see that atrophying as well. And then look what happens down the generations. We see falling apart, right? And then we see patterns of behavior that are set in place. So when we're doing this work together, thank you guys for being here. We're going to the root of these things. It's not going to be in the physical. No matter how much shock therapy or pills you pop or whatever, it's in the non-physical. And it all goes down to a belief. Now, to get the for reals energy clear healing, whoever these people are, you guys, God bless you, whatever your, because we're still on a collective, right? But when you get your own reading, we can trace it back to the belief. That is the core. It's like the cute little P, like PEA, the belief that rules it all. Once we get to that core belief that is so fearful, like, and so giving you an example, for example, as I'm tapping into you guys, as I have to tell you this, I'm feeling a neck pain in the left side of my neck. Some of you, I wonder if you're feeling that too. For example, let's look at this whiling away energy of masculine unrealized in society, maybe due to privilege, maybe due to I don't give a hoot about anybody and I don't need to, because socioculturally they didn't need to, right? But today, in hindsight, you may be like, wow, is this me? Right? You'd be like, oh, whoops, maybe my bad. But the question is, why, how does this affect me? This aspect of you today, not you, it's you, but it's not the one in the driver's seat. You watching this video, it's the personality. It's your lifetime, this lifetime. It's your time to make choices. But these aspects of you, when unhealed, are still running the show, because you don't realize that these are parts of you that kick in. You know, you're shifting through different lifetimes and different aspects all throughout the day, different ages, all sorts of stuff. And so this aspect of you, for example, would feel guilty because it carries the realization that it did not live up to its potential. As I'm saying that, I'm feeling a very strong, heavy Chinese lifetime. So that could be somebody here, or a couple of you, because I mean, hello, we've all lived in China at some point. We've all lived in India. We've all lived in certain parts of the world, Greece, whatever, right? There's just too many people passing through these learning environments, right? And so I see a lot of guilt as we touch the nail on the head there. I'm getting Christmas energies again. This is the second time. I didn't mention it the first time, but I need to mention it. It came up again. So that may be a symbol for somebody here to know that this could be about you or whatnot, but or this reading could be for you. But I do want to let you know that, for example, this aspect would be feeling guilty because it knows it didn't live up to its potential in that lifetime. These are the things that follow us lifetime after lifetime. When you're feeling like a failure, when you're giving yourself a hard time for not, or just for taking the day off, for example, or you make a mistake and you put yourself on fire, right? These are the things that fuel that kind of judgment about yourself. So when we can go back and we can locate these beliefs, and sometimes even the lifetimes that they manifested in or were set in motion, can you see how healing that is? Now we're going to bring in the Christ consciousness here. I do want to remind you that that the Christ consciousness is not a religious thing. We're not dealing with earth-based things now. The Christ consciousness refers to the form of consciousness that is our, and I mean everybody, natural state as created by Source. That is the pristine template. No false beliefs, no anything else. We are the quote unquote body of the Christ. So there's Source, and then there's the Son of God, if you want to call it. This we're using human language, right? English, right? The Son of God, the body of Christ. So it's just a name. The Christ consciousness refers to the consciousness of the created. That's us. It's clean, it's healthy, it's pure, it's love based. There's none of this false belief. Forgiveness, what's forgiveness? No one's done anything wrong, everyone's innocent. What is this thing we call forgiveness? Right? It's at that level where we recognize our oneness, our unity. What past lifetimes? What are we talking about? That's a dream. What are we talking about? That's that level. And so the beautiful thing about the Christ consciousness is that we all carry it within us. And that is what we're moving back towards. So that's why when we say return to love, return to innocence. Oh, Enigma, the return to innocence. Oh, love that song. That's what we're talking about. We're getting back away from the false dreams of blame, of guilt, of harsh criticism, right? That's all fodder. This is what the deprogramming is. Lifetime after lifetime, we come back trying to clear all these false ideas. It wouldn't make any sense if we just told you you're innocent, you didn't do anything wrong, you didn't hurt anybody, you didn't burn that house down and kill everybody because it was all a dream. It makes no sense because I'm taking you from A and telling you about Z. Z makes no sense to you. Like if I said, "Oh, you're a tree." What do you mean I'm a tree? That doesn't make sense because you need to see because you have to see how Z relates to A. So throughout our lifetimes, we live through A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, Z. Oh, that's what you mean by Z. I'm innocent. Yeah, after you've worked off all this deep programming, right? So this is what it means when we ask God for simple for we ask questions and then the answer comes back and it's very simple. And you're like, I don't get that. Only love is real. What do you mean by that? Well, this is what we mean. All this stuff that you're experiencing and believing and it's not real. But you can't perceive of it not being real because we're into sauce, right? So we have to like dismantle these beliefs by going back into the looking at the patterns, reverse engineering, understanding, relating it to what we experience in the daily life, blah, 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 blah. And so that's what we're here for. We're here for it, right? Five of Cups wanted to come out in reverse. It's the grief card. Interesting. Oh, look how it aligned very well here. I was going to say, I like this card here. It feels like a healthy use of the masculine here. Now, but what I'm seeing here is like um, there's an aspect of your inner masculine that is aware of its past, of its deeds, of its actions, but really of its beliefs and what it's made of itself, its potential. Because we have choice. This is our God-given gift. On all levels of the field, we have choice. Whether we perceive it as choice or not down here, there's choice. So here, this masculine aspect is acknowledging from a place of stillness and acceptance. Hey, man, I've done some stuff. I've suppressed parts of me. I've suppressed the feminine. I've done this, but it really is just suppressing the self. It's the I am not. When we are in our natural state, it's I am. But the minute we entertain I am not, this is self doubt. Whether you want to talk about liliths and 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 what do you call it, apples and the serpents and blah blah blah, whatever you want to call it. The thought arose, I am not. I am other than what I was created. That is the beginning of the dream, but it's not real, right? And because once you have that I am not, you're going to have existential guilt as a result because you're suppressing a reality that doesn't go away. It's in the background, right? And God's not out here like, oh, how dare you? God's doing whatever God's doing. We're having this drama, lifetime after lifetime, existential guilt, and just delving deeper and deeper into it until we clear it. But it has nothing to do with source. Imagine being a cute little bubbly little drop of water in a whole ocean. You're just one little tiny part of the ocean, beloved. Without you, the ocean would be incomplete. But don't think that your world of drama is affecting, the ocean, God, source, whatever. It's not like you, which droplet has defied me. If you have that idea, you are drinking the sauce of man made, man designed, man interpreted, man distorted religious beliefs, philosophical beliefs, sociocultural beliefs. These are all the stuff that we need to clear so that we can get back to what? Your Christed template. Nothing religious about that. That existed before this planet existed. Somebody thought they got a few channelings, made something of it, wrote things down, distorted things. Power came in, rewrote things, distorted things. That's why if you want to engage with these very real, beautiful energies that are in all of our religions, no matter whether they're considered major or not, there's always a little source of love in there. But that source is, I don't know where to find that anymore amidst the doctrine. So to connect with those, because they are there, you must connect inward. You're not to go outward and give your whole life over to something and give your money over to something and turn down people who want to love you and marry you because they don't align with that faith or whatever, to pick up arms because they don't align with that. All this stuff is madness. It's distortion, like complete. Right? So this is the thing. You have to reclaim the reality of stuff. If it's not love, get rid of it. It doesn't mean that you get rid of the beautiful love that's underneath here. It's you close your eyes to the expression as it's evolved in the earth, on the earthly plane, and you go inward and you ask source, show me. I'm going to put down all these books. I'm going to put down all this stuff. I'm going to close my wallet and I'm just going to take myself and be alone for a bit. This is what this guy's doing. This is why he was able to accept the past on some level, right? And you ask your inner authority to show you, and that your inner authority is the Christ consciousness, the higher self, all of these aspects of this part of you that knows, right? Look at the light that wants to come in. Ask it to direct you safely through whatever belief systems, whatever society, whatever religion, whatever philosophy, whatever it is. You turn inward and you allow that part of you to navigate you. You don't go outside in, because that's when we start um, losing the masculine way. The masculine way here that we're uncovering is what? Think for yourself. You show up with self integrity, with the desire to be, what's the word, effective, to show up. See, this is not as some whiling away kind of thing. This is not to say you can't do the arts, you can't do all this, but if you learn all this stuff, you hold on to it. If you just dabble in the arts and you don't teach, you don't share, you don't even put on display, you don't, if you just waste away in some dens, getting high or just whatever, what are you doing? Male, female, gender non-conforming, there's that masculine within you that wants to be of service. If you're not providing, what are you doing? This doesn't mean you have to have kids to provide, just like you don't have to have kids to be in your feminine. It is the energy of providing, of teaching, of leading, of expressing, of being of service, of modeling community of creating the space for all within to rest. When the family, when the mother and father, or masculine and feminine, are in their proper structures, guess what the kids can do? They can run amok because they don't have to look out for themselves. They don't have to worry, oh, mommy's this or daddy's this, or we're not going to eat. No, they can run around and get dirty because they are free to do what they need to do. So if the masculine structure isn't there, everything's out of whack. The feminine structure isn't there, everything's out of whack. And then what happens to the inner child, as expressed in the children in the world, right? What happens to the inner child? It can't be happy. It can't express. It can't get into its joyful state. Your natural state is the inner child, by the way. That's the true essence. You're literally a child of source. You're a child of God. We always expect that it's going to be some big adult who's wise, and it's a child essence. And that's why when you see these super wise people, and they really somehow mastered something about life, they're laughing because they're in touch with the inner child. It is the child within you that is the first to be suppressed, and it is the one that you need to reclaim in order to reclaim, they're saying, your throne. It's so funny because now we see us shooting up here. Okay, so just two more because I feel like we need, look, two more cards. So I was gonna say two more messages, but and maybe even 2 more minutes because I didn't keep time here, so I can't let it go too long. I don't know, has it been an hour already? Sorry, my bad, guys. um and I'm wondering, I feel like we need another part two for this masculine, because there are other energies, other aspects of the masculine that I feel like we can dredge up here for ourselves and really work through. But it's not about overloading. Let's see these last two. Two of Cups, okay? Page of Wands, infidelity. Excuse me. Okay, that's a tough one because what we experience is infidelity, and what we witness is infidelity, regardless of who's doing it and what polarity, male, female, gender, whatever. It's integrity that is lacking. It's the integrity. It's having a container that's leaking. That's why when we have the Three of Cups, a card that, can mean many things, but it's often used to refer to stepping outside of a connection. We can refer to it as a third party. When we talk about infidelity and we talk about third party, it need not be that the third party is a person. It can be work. This is speaking to putting something ahead of union. If we're talking about the inner masculine, the question now becomes, what have you made your mate over polarity with your feminine within? This we see as manifesting as hypermasculinity sometimes, making the masculine, sociocultural ideas of masculinity and all its shutdown be your mate, be that thing you cling to. What happens when we cut out the feminine? We have the masculine left, and that's why we have hypermasculinity. What happens when we cut out the feminine and we go straight to sociocultural building? We have um, we have workaholism, right? That's why we have to balance work with family. We have to balance these two to create that. You have to pull in the feminine. What can we say about all these cultures, US included, that shut out the feminine? And in some countries, it's just redonkulous how shut out the feminine is. And I'm not just talking in certain spaces, I'm talking about the entire society. Imbalance. The question is, what have you made your mate? Okay. Um, if we want to look at the father archetype, the masculine archetype, also as being a spiritual leader, if he cuts out the feminine within, what has he taken as his idol, as the thing that he has put above him? right? When we are not in union with the other polarity, we are engaging in third party situations. The question is, what is it that is distracting you? Some of us make our wounds our mates. It gets to a point that we can't even have a solid relationship with male, female, gender non-conforming. It doesn't matter what your orientation is. It's a polarity thing. We can't even attract that in its healthy state because we are clinging to something of the third. Maybe it's wounds, false ideas, chasing status in society. Could well be other men and women that you're hooking up with, money, it's whatever. Travel, they're showing me. A lot of people travel as a way of getting out of their commitments. It's called wanderlust. Not all who wander are lost, by the way, but wanderlust as a way of escaping is 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 really you escaping what could be your joy. And it really is just a manifestation on the outside of you escaping your union within. And let's not even talk about concept of union. Lots of people are trying to get into union with others. They can't even manifest union within. All right. So we're going to go ahead and leave it here for today. God bless. Uh, some of you, yeah, maybe this is good. I might move on to the feminine next and then maybe revisit the masculine. You see that, look, 1, 2, 3, we got a nice little pillar here, but we're going to go ahead and close the door on this portal that we created for the past lifetime and such. Um, we've had some, just to sum up what we did today is we looked at the inner masculine. We've been doing a little bit of, not a little bit, a lot of clearing. The guides are giving us a report now. Thanks, guides. They're saying they did do some clearing for some earthbound spirits some of us had attached to us, right? They've also, and I'm seeing this is awesome. They've also cleared up a pathway along the timeline that you're on. I'm just seeing obstacles being removed. I don't see necessarily any DNA work done. If you did have any DNA work done, that would be revealed to you personally. But I didn't see that coming through collectively, although maybe 1 or 2 people did have their spirit teams do some of that. We did some medical work in the field, they're saying, um, in your cranial area, in the energy field that you're in. Some of you will start to see some unlocking of energies in your workspace, I'm getting, because I'm seeing some of you are actively working with people who you've had lifetimes as family members with. And I do see that you've been repeating those old patterns with them. You will know if this is you because you will see in the workspace now that you'll see them either they bring it up or you'll see it reflected back to you, how you've been being in the space. Maybe someone will say, "Hey, man, you're so much easier to talk to now. I was always intimidated to talk to you, this and that." Or you may have it brought to your attention in some other way in the workplace. This is all evidence of this old energy dismantling and being removed. It's already been dismantled and removed. It's going to be on its way out. So just continue to move forward in alignment with spirit. Ask your higher self to help you to walk a path of healthy masculinity and to show you where the evidence of that is outside of you. In other words, in your life. Okay. Whew, that was a lot. So we're going to go ahead and close this off. Thank you so much. If it's over an hour, sorry. And if it's over an hour, that means I can't post to Instagram. I just have to post a video. But you know what? If people don't want to take that extra step to go up to the bio and click the link to YouTube, what can I say? I came, I showed up and did the job that I'm supposed to do. And it is my pleasure to do that for you guys as always. Stay tuned. Um, oh, some of you are going to be going into some spiritual retreats soon. See how his hair is shaved off here to get here. So keep an eye out for that. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and bring through the feminine energies, maybe tomorrow or the next day. Okay. God bless you guys. Mwah. Personal readings are come see me on Etsy. They're on me. God bless. Bye. Lower hand. I said there.